2. I won. Oh! You okay? Is that real?
Real.
Dana White has reportedly sent a massive bombshell message to the undefeated PFL champion, Dakota Ditcheva, after shocking footage emerged from a training session that has the entire combat sports world talking. What happened? Jacqueline Cavalcanti, the UFC bantamweight contender, allegedly knocked out her male training partner in sparring, and the aftermath has sent shockwaves through both the UFC and PFL. Dana White reached out to warn Dakota that Jacqueline Cavalcanti might be the biggest threat she's ever faced. We're talking about a woman who just proved she can knock out men in training, and now the MMA world is asking, is Dakota Ditcheva's perfect record about to meet its match? Let's talk about what allegedly went down in this training session that has everyone buzzing. Jacqueline Cavalcanti was working with a male training partner, something that's actually common for elite female fighters who want to test themselves against size, strength, and power advantages. These sessions are typically controlled and technical. But according to multiple sources, Cavalcanti landed a devastating combination that dropped her sparring partner cold. We're talking a clean knockout that left coaches and training partners stunned. The male fighter, who reportedly outweighed her by at least 20 pounds, didn't see it coming. Now here's where it gets interesting. Word apparently reached Dana White about this incident, and sources claim he made it a point to send a message through intermediaries to Dakota Ditcheva. The message: "You think you're the hardest hitter in women's MMA? Jacqueline just knocked out a man. She's your biggest threat." Whether this is gamesmanship, genuine concern, or Dana trying to create buzz for a potential super fight, we don't know. But what we do know is that both fighters have now caught wind of this story, and the tension is real. Now let's break down why Dakota Ditcheva has been considered untouchable until now. The record: Dakota Dangerous Ditcheva stands at a perfect 15-0. But it's not just that she's undefeated, it's how she's winning. Out of 15 victories, 12 have come by knockout or TKO. That's an 80% finishing rate. Striking power: Dakota's body shots are legitimately some of the most devastating in all of women's MMA. She doesn't headhunt like most fighters. She attacks the liver, the solar plexus, the ribs. When Dakota hits you to the body, fighters describe it as feeling like a baseball bat to the midsection. Her finish of Tala Santos, a woman who went 5 rounds with Valentina Shevchenko, came via body shots that made Santos crumble. Youth and speed. At just 26 years old, Dakota is in her athletic prime. Her hand speed is explosive, her footwork is crisp, and she has the reflexes of a fighter who's been doing this since childhood. Dakota's confidence is sky high right now. She's never tasted defeat. She's never even been in serious trouble in a fight. She's finished Olympic-level strikers, submission specialists, and UFC veterans. In her mind, she's untouchable.
Club and a right hand. Oh, another one! Big one! Dakota Ditcheva, right hand and a hand of fake! Another knockout for Dakota Ditcheva!
But after Dana's alleged warning, some are wondering, is Dakota overlooking the danger that Jacqueline Cavalcanti represents? Now let's talk about the woman who's apparently got Dana White's attention, and potentially Dakota's number. The record. Jacqueline Cavalcanti sits at 10-1, with her only loss coming via split decision back in 2022 at the PFL Challenger Series. Since then, she's been flawless, 5 straight wins in the UFC against increasingly tough competition.
It's a mixed curse.
134 and a half.
134 and a half for Jacqueline Cavalcanti.
Technical striking. While Dakota is known for explosive power, Jacqueline is a technician. She uses angles, feints, and footwork to break down opponents systematically. Her striking accuracy is among the best in the UFC bantamweight division. She doesn't waste energy. Every punch, every kick, every knee has a purpose. Cardio and pace. This is where Jacqueline might have the biggest advantage. 7 of her 10 wins have come by decision, which shows she can push a brutal pace for 15 minutes straight. She's fought and won 5 full 3-round fights in the UFC. Dakota's never been past the 3rd round. If this fight goes long, Jacqueline has the proven gas tank.
Let's go! She just right hand. Melissa Croton! Croton's back up! Another shot from Cavalcanti! High kick from Croton! Cavalcanti drops Croton again! Craziness! Looking for the finish!
My goodness, how is Croton still standing?
Dakota Ditcheva apparently didn't take kindly to Jacqueline's comments. Sources indicate she fired back on Twitter with a message that has MMA Twitter exploding. While we can't confirm the exact wording, reports suggest Dakota tweeted something along the lines of, "Knocking out men in training? Cool story. I've knocked out actual fighters in real fights. 15 times. Want to make it 16? Stop talking and sign the contract." Dakota fights at 125 pounds, flyweight. Jacqueline fights at 135 pounds, bantamweight. That's a 10-pound difference, which is massive in women's MMA. Jacqueline's camp has allegedly suggested they'd meet at a catch weight of 130 pounds. Dakota's team hasn't publicly responded to this proposal, but insiders say she's not afraid of the challenge. Dakota is signed exclusively to PFL. Jacqueline is signed to UFC. Dana White owns UFC but has connections in the industry. Could he actually facilitate this fight? Some believe the alleged warning to Dakota might be Dana's way of testing the waters for a potential cross-promotional mega fight. This would be a striker versus striker war, but with completely different approaches. Dakota wants to hurt you early with explosive power. Jacqueline wants to break you down systematically over time. Can Dakota's devastating power overcome a 10-pound weight disadvantage? Can Jacqueline's technical skills and cardio neutralize the most dangerous body puncher in women's MMA? Dakota has the youth, the momentum, and the finishing power. Jacqueline has the experience, the UFC pedigree, and apparently the ability to knock out men in training.
The planet right now, fantastic strikers, veterans, future legends of the game here.
For sure.
Santos is in big trouble.
Dakota Ditcheva to the body again for a championship.
Dana White has allegedly sent a warning to Dakota Ditcheva. Jacqueline Cavalcanti has reportedly knocked out a male training partner in sparring. Dakota has apparently fired back on social media, and now we have a full-blown controversy between 2 of the most dangerous women in combat sports. Will this fight actually happen? That depends on whether PFL and UFC can work together, whether both fighters can agree on a weight, and whether the demand is loud enough.
You know, the damage so far in this fight, it's been one-way trap.
Oh, nasty knee in the middle from Dakota. And a flurry. Get under the body. Here's the elbow. Back elbow. And now a left hand. And she's showing off now.
Subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell, because as this story develops, we'll be covering every update, every tweet, and every bit of drama leading up to what could be the biggest women's MMA fight in history. Dakota Ditcheva, the undefeated knockout queen. Jacqueline Cavalcanti, the UFC contender who just proved she can drop men. 1 perfect record, 1 devastating warning from Dana White, 1 fight that could break the internet. This is the fight we need. This is the fight we deserve. And hopefully, this is the fight we're going to get. The undefeated British phenom Dakota Ditcheva just made history by becoming the youngest PFL champion ever. But she might have just caught the attention of the WRONG legend. We're talking about Cris Cyborg. Yes, that Cyborg. The woman who's held championship belts in 5 different major promotions. And let me tell you, she just sent a message that has the entire MMA world buzzing.
And get you against the cage.
Oh, and it is right hand, hammer fist. Cris Cyborg makes the statement in round 1. Mamma mia!
Alright, for those who might be new to MMA or need a refresher, let's talk about who Cris Cyborg really is. Because this woman is not someone you want to underestimate. Christiane Justino, known as Cris Cyborg, is quite simply one of the most dominant and decorated fighters in combat sports history. We're talking about a Brazilian-American powerhouse who currently holds the PFL Superfights Women's Featherweight Championship. But here's what makes her truly legendary. Cyborg is the only fighter in MMA history, male or female, to become a quintuple champion. That means she's held world titles in 5 major promotions: Strikeforce, Invicta FC, UFC, Bellator, and now PFL. Nobody else can say that.
Oh, boy.
Big kick. How did she take that?
Pacheco just ate it. Wow. Snapped the head back and she just kept coming.
My goodness. That would have put me to sleep.
Pacheco was coming forward. She flared her.
That head kick, oh my goodness.
My goodness.
Pacheco's lucky it was the foot that made contact.
Right.
If that was the shin, she might be sleeping.
Might have been a different night. Boom.
Her record? An absolutely terrifying 28 wins and only 2 losses. 21 of those wins came by knockout. She's been destroying opponents for nearly 2 decades, and at 39 years old, she just defeated Larissa Pacheco, the 2023 PFL Women's Featherweight Champion, by unanimous decision last October. Cyborg first made waves in 2009 when she knocked out Gina Carano in the first ever major MMA main event featuring women. Since then, she's been an unstoppable force, collecting championships like they're going out of style.
Body kick by the challenger, level change, and Cyborg ends up on top. Ground and pound, hammer fist from the champion. It's over. Cris Cyborg with her 12th first-round knockout finish. Cris Cyborg remains Bellator featherweight champion.
Now, let's talk about the young gun who's got everyone's attention, Dakota Ditcheva. This 26-year-old British fighter is making serious waves in the PFL, and for good reason. Dakota just won the 2024 PFL Women's Flyweight Championship and a cool $1 million by defeating Taila Santos via second-round TKO at PFL 10 last November. And get this, she became the youngest champion in PFL history and the first British female MMA world champion. Dakota's undefeated. We're talking 15 wins, 0 losses. 12 of those wins? Knockouts. This girl has serious power in her hands, especially those devastating body shots that have become her signature.
Plum and a right hand. Oh, another one! Big one! Dakota Ditcheva, right hand and a hammer fist! Another knockout for Dakota Ditcheva!
Coming from a martial arts family, her mother Lisa Howarth was a multiple-time world kickboxing champion. Dakota has striking in her DNA. Before MMA, she was already a 3-time Muay Thai world champion in the junior divisions and won gold representing Great Britain at the 2016 World Championships. She's been on an absolute tear through the PFL, finishing opponents left and right. Her most recent fight, a unanimous decision victory over Sumiko Inaba this past July, showing she can go the distance when needed.
Against defense with body shots.
Combination again, punching her way out of these clinches.
Inaba not able to match speed on the outside.
Crashing in again.
Oh, beautiful knee.
Oh, the clinch is really working for Ditcheva. She gets the turn under the knee, finds its way to the face of Sumiko Inaba, and an elbow from Dakota.
Inaba can't take a lot of those knees.
But here's the thing. While her striking is elite level, questions have been raised about her grappling game. And that might be a problem when you're facing someone like Cyborg. So here's where things get spicy. After Dakota's impressive championship victory and her continued dominance in the flyweight division, Cris Cyborg has apparently taken notice. And in typical Cyborg fashion, she didn't hold back. Sources close to the situation report that Cyborg has sent a clear and massive message to the young champion. She sees Dakota as a challenge she's ready to accept, and quite frankly, as someone whose undefeated record she's eager to end. Now, we need to talk about the elephant in the room here. Cyborg competes at featherweight, 145 pounds, while Dakota fights at flyweight, 125 pounds. That's a significant weight difference. But in the world of super fights and money matches, anything is possible, especially in the PFL, where they love creating these dream matchups. Here's what makes Cyborg such a terrifying threat to Dakota: her grappling. While Dakota has been knocking everyone out on the feet, Cyborg is a world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who's won gold medals at the IBJJF World Championships and even medaled at ADCC, one of the most prestigious grappling tournaments on the planet. Cyborg's ground game is something Dakota hasn't really faced at this level. Sure, Dakota has one submission win on her record, but grappling has been identified as the potential weakness in her otherwise flawless game.
Things go from okay to terrible instant when you fight with Cyborg, and there it is. Cyborg putting it on Van Duyn. Knee to the body for good measure. Oh, that might have hurt her. Van Duyn just goes down to the floor. It's done. Steve Mazzagatti has seen enough. Christian Cyborg Justino, victorious via first round TKO.
But here's where Dakota Ditcheva showed us she's not backing down from anyone. Shortly after word spread about Cyborg's call-out, Dakota took to Twitter with a response that has the MMA community absolutely fired up. While the exact wording of her tweet hasn't been fully disclosed, sources indicate that the young British champion made it clear she's not intimidated by Cyborg's legendary status or her grappling credentials. Dakota basically said she's ready to test herself against anyone, legend or not, and that her striking power doesn't care about reputation.
Damage so far in this fight, it's been one-way traffic.
Oh, nasty knee right the middle from Dakota. And a flurry under the body. Here's the elbow. Back elbow. And now a left hand. And she's showing off, man.
This is the confidence of youth, folks. Dakota has never lost. She's finished 12 opponents by knockout. In her mind, she's unstoppable. And honestly, can you blame her for believing that? Some fans are praising Dakota's courage and warrior spirit. Others are calling it naive, saying she doesn't understand what kind of danger Cyborg represents. The MMA Twitterverse absolutely exploded with reactions. You've got people saying Dakota is biting off more than she can chew, while others argue that her youth, speed, and power could be too much for the aging legend. One thing's for sure, this response has turned what could have been a simple call-out into a full-blown rivalry that fans are desperate to see play out in the cage. Let's be real for a second and break down what this fight would actually look like. On the feet, Dakota has the advantage. Her Muay Thai background, her speed, and those brutal body shots could cause serious problems for anyone. But Cyborg is no slouch in striking either. She's knocked out 21 opponents herself. Where Cyborg has the massive edge is in grappling and experience. If she can get Dakota to the ground, it could be a long night for the British champion. Dakota's takedown defense and ground game are still question marks. The weight difference is huge. Even if they met at a catch weight, Cyborg is the naturally bigger, stronger fighter with a frame built for featherweight. Experience? Not even close. Cyborg has faced killers for 20 years. Dakota, despite being undefeated, is still relatively new to the highest levels of competition. But never underestimate youth, speed, and power. Dakota is in her prime, hungry, and genuinely believes she can't be beaten. So there you have it. Fight fans, the MMA world is buzzing about a potential super fight between legend Chris Cyborg and the undefeated Dakota Ditcheva.
Yeah, get that one now. She's in the driver's seat. Oh, look at this. Wow. Big mistake.
Busy. He's doing some damage. Not major damage. She landed strikes from the outside now.
Starting to connect with the jab. Santos is exhausted at this point. Blanchfield still
UFC's rising star Erin Blanchfield just dropped a bombshell message aimed directly at undefeated PFL champion Dakota Ditcheva. And let me tell you, this bully-style call-out has the entire combat sports community talking. Stick around because Dakota's response is not what you'd expect. Alright, let's set the stage. Erin Blanchfield, currently ranked number 4 in the UFC women's flyweight division and number 7 pound for pound, has been on an absolute tear. With 14 wins and only 2 losses, this 25-year-old phenom from New Jersey has been demolishing opponents left and right.
Power in every single punch, and it does become a little telegraph, but I would like her to kind of cut more lateral movement and really set up that big right hand. She's got a lot of power.
This flyweights are took the fight, and Erin Blanchfield trying to close the show. It is done.
Wow.
Cold-blooded Erin Blanchfield stops Victoria Leonardo in devastating fashion. We can talk all day about her jiu-jitsu game, but Erin Blanchfield is a well-rounded mixed martial artist.
But her latest victory over Tracy Cortez at UFC 322 wasn't enough. No, Blanchfield wants more, and she's got her sights set on someone outside the UFC entirely. In a recent statement that's gone viral across social media, Blanchfield sent a direct message to Dakota Ditcheva, saying, and I quote, "I want you in the UFC. I'm going to win the title and be the UFC champion."
I'm going to win a title and be the UFC champion.
There you go. Let's hear it for your winner, Erin Blanchfield, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, that might sound like confidence, but many fans are calling it straight-up bullying. Blanchfield isn't just calling out Ditcheva. She's essentially telling the undefeated PFL champion that she needs to come to her promotion, fight on her terms, and watch her become champion. Talk about throwing down the gauntlet. Now, if you don't know who Dakota Ditcheva is, let me educate you real quick because this woman is different. Dakota Dangerous Ditcheva is a 26-year-old British-Bulgarian fighter with a perfect 15-0 record. That's right, undefeated. And it's not just that she's winning, it's how she's winning.
Plum and a right hand. Oh, another one! Big one! Dakota Ditcheva, right hand and a hand of face! Another knockout for Dakota Ditcheva!
12 of her 15 victories have come by knockout. She's got 1 submission and only 2 decision wins. This woman is a finisher. She's the 2024 PFL Women's Flyweight Champion, won the $1 million prize, and is the youngest champion in PFL history and the first British female MMA World Champion. But here's what makes her dangerous. She comes from a Muay Thai background. She was a 3-time world champion in the junior divisions and won gold at the 2016 IFMA World Championships. Her striking is absolutely vicious, with those body punches that have become her signature. So when Erin Blanchfield calls her out and demands she come to the UFC, you'd expect Dakota to fire back with some trash talk, right? Wrong. Here's where things get interesting. Instead of engaging in a war of words, Dakota Ditcheva took the high road with a response that's actually more strategic than you might think. In her statement, Dakota said, "This is how I'm going to build my brand and become a superstar, along with the fighting, which is most important." But yeah, kind of just got to go with the flow.
This is how I'm gonna, build my brand and become a superstar, I suppose, along with the fighting as well, which is most important. But yeah, I kind of just gotta go with the flow.
Now, some people might see this as Dakota backing down, but let me tell you why that's completely wrong. Dakota is playing the long game here. She's in the PFL, she's undefeated, she just won $1 million, and she's building her brand on her terms. She doesn't need to jump to the UFC just because Erin Blanchfield says so. Think about it. Why would she leave the PFL where she's the champion, making huge money and getting massive exposure, to go be just another contender in the UFC's flyweight division? Dakota is building her superstar status where she is, and the pressure is actually on Blanchfield to become UFC champion first. And then Dakota took to Twitter and dropped her own message. While we don't know the exact wording, sources indicate Dakota's tweet was about continuing her journey and letting her fighting do the talking. No drama, no begging for the fight, just pure confidence. Erin Blanchfield, 14-2 record, UFC ranked, aggressive call-out style, needs to win the title to back up her talk. Dakota Ditcheva, 15-0 record, PFL champion, undefeated, calm and calculated, building her brand methodically. Blanchfield is a grappling monster. She holds the UFC women's flyweight record for most takedowns in a single fight with 8 against Miranda Maverick. She's got 4 submission victories in the UFC alone, tied for second all-time in the division. Her Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu credentials are legit. She's a former Eddie Bravo Invitational champion. When she gets you to the ground, it's basically game over. Just ask Molly McCann, who got caught in a Kimura, or Jessica Andrade, who tapped to a submission.
Officially 125.5 for Erin Blanchfield.
Dakota, on the other hand, is a striker's striker. Coming from a Muay Thai background where she won world championships, her stand-up game is absolutely elite. Those body punches are surgical. She literally won the PFL championship by destroying Taila Santos with body shots, becoming the first person ever to finish Santos. 12 knockouts in 15 fights speaks volumes. She keeps fighting standing. She picks you apart and she puts you away.
The planet right now, fantastic strikers, veterans, future legends of the game here.
For sure.
Santos is in big trouble.
She's in big trouble.
Dakota Ditcheva to the body again for a championship.
So you've got the ultimate grappler versus the ultimate striker. It's the classic MMA question. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? But here's the thing that's driving fans crazy right now. This is the fight we need to see to answer the question. Who's really the best flyweight on the planet? The UFC has the most stacked division, sure, but Dakota's been destroying everyone put in front of her without even being tested. But here's what I think is really happening here. Erin Blanchfield knows that calling out an undefeated fighter from another promotion gets her attention and keeps her name in the headlines. It's a smart promotion, even if it comes off as bullying. She's creating a narrative where she's the fighter willing to face anyone, anywhere.
125. Official weight 125 pounds for Erin Blanchfield.
Dakota Ditcheva knows that not engaging in trash talk while focusing on her own success makes her look professional and in demand. She's playing chess while others are playing checkers. By staying cool and collected, she's actually making Blanchfield chase her, not the other way around. So there you have it. Fight fans, Erin Blanchfield has thrown down the challenge, demanding Dakota Ditcheva come to the UFC so she can prove she's the best. Dakota's response? Essentially, I'm building my empire over here. Thanks. The question is, do we ever see this fight? And if we do, who wins? The aggressive submission specialist with championship experience in the UFC, or the undefeated knockout artist who's never tasted defeat? My take? Both women are being smart in their own way. Blanchfield is generating buzz and showing confidence. She's putting pressure on herself to win that UFC title, which could fast-track her to superstardom. Dakota is staying patient and letting her perfect record speak for itself while cashing PFL checks and building her brand internationally. This bully girl Shauna Bannon really messed with Dakota. She even said in an interview before the match that she would knock Dakota out in the second round. Is the knockout on your mind? I want to knock her out. Do you have a prediction of when you get to do it? Second round. Thank you.
Is the knockout on your mind? I want to knock her out. Do you have a prediction of when you get to do it? Second round. Thank you.
After listening to this message, Dakota fired back with pure class and confidence. I mean, I feel very lucky to be on the card, you know. Like, this is the final for the athletes that are all fighting for £1 million. And I feel like only my second fight in PFL, I've been able to get on the undercard for that. It's just a massive thing. So, I'm quite proud of myself that, you know, I've been given that opportunity. But, yeah, I'm just trying to treat it as every other fight. I'm not trying to think too big. Obviously, it's my first one in the States as well. I want to make sure I'm making an impression, a good impression, and I only got like less than a round out of my last fight. So I want people to be able to see a little bit more about what I'm here for.
How do you look at this fight and what it does for you to be able to have now your second fight at PFL?
I mean, I feel very lucky to be on the card, you know, like this is the final for the athletes that are all fighting for £1 million, and I feel like only my second fight in PFL, I've been able to get on the undercard for that. It's just a massive thing, so I'm quite proud of myself that, you know, I've been given that opportunity. But yeah, I'm just trying to treat it as every other fight. I'm not trying to like think too big. Obviously, it's my first one in the States as well. I want to make sure I make an impression, a good impression, and I only got like less than a round out of my last fight, so I want people to be able to see a little bit more about what I'm here for.
But Shauna Bannon had no idea she would regret those words instantly the moment she stepped inside the cage. This wasn't just another fight. This was a statement opportunity for both fighters. Dakota Ditcheva, the rising star with devastating striking power, was facing Shauna Bannon, an aggressive Irish fighter known for her relentless pressure and warrior mentality.
Plum and a right hand. Oh, another one! Big one! Dakota Ditcheva, right hand and a hammer fist! Another knockout for Dakota Ditcheva!
The trash talk was set. Bannon promised a second-round knockout. Dakota promised to prove why she belongs on the big stage. The MMA world was watching, but what Dakota didn't know at the time was what would be revealed after the fight, a shocking detail that would change the entire narrative of this battle.